Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty, empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hi and welcome to this episode. Today I am probably going to be the most vulnerable that I have ever been in terms of this podcast. And in terms of the way that I talk about my business and my life in this way. So, to set the scene, right now in my business, I am in a really wonderful place. We are upscaling, we are growing, we are doing lots of exciting things. We are enjoying working with ideal clients. We very rarely have any difficulties in the way of dissatisfaction or people not paying or any of those things. I have had those things in the past, but at the moment we're in this kind of beautiful, wonderful golden period where we seem to have listened well enough to get ourselves to a stage where we are delivering excellence all the time in a way that it's just become really normal. Our clients love it, we love it, we're busy. And sometimes that gets stressful, but it's the right kind of stressful. It's the kind of stressful that you can accommodate for. It's the kind of stressful that you, as long as you're aware of it, you can find ways to navigate around it. I'm sat in my office. I've waited until the girls have left to record this podcast, and it's raining outside. It's windy. It is starting to turn in terms of the weather not being lovely and hot, which is weird because I really don't feel like we had enough hot weather. Brits will never, ever have any level of scarcity that is higher than the way we feel about sunny days. You know, they're always priceless and never going to happen again. But there's been a lot of stuff going on for me personally. Now, I could have gone in the podcast room and I could have set this up in a really fancy way. And I really like doing that. I really like doing outward visibility things for you pretties that are polished and smart and offer an opportunity for the correct market placement, I guess, of everything that I do for it to be shown. But also I really like being real. And you can hear my chair squeaking probably in the background, and I'm hoping that the fan on my laptop is not too loud. You might hear the occasional ding from the devices that we have in the office because I haven't been around and switched them off. Today it was just more important that I plug in and show up without trying to be overly polished, overly presentable, or overly anything, I guess. In the last few months, there has been some massive, significant changes in my personal life. Some of them have been absolutely wonderful and created just moments of absolute joy, and some of them have been devastating, heartbreaking, and given me real pause in terms of my emotional regulation and how well I'm doing as a human, not even as a business owner, not even really as a CEO. I'm evaluating who I am as a person in terms of my identity in a way that I probably haven't done since my dad passed when I was 21. Grief will do that for you, and that's what's happening for me at the moment, and I don't think I'm out of it. If anything, I might be recording this podcast at a moment where I'm entirely in the weeds, and I might listen to this back and regret it, is the honest truth. I might wish that I didn't share this with you and that I'd kept up a polished exterior and, taken things on the chin. But the truth is, I am dealing with stuff. I'm dealing with heartbreak and disappointment, and I'm trying to rebuild hope and make new neural pathways and see other people's perspectives and lean on therapists and friends and people who love me to help me rebuild some of the parts of me that you may never have guessed need rebuilding at this point. One of the things is my self-esteem, and that is hard to admit when we're doing as well as we're doing, and so many of you look to me as a beacon for confidence and self-esteem. But who am I to be a thought leader in this area if I'm not honest about my roller coaster and my wobbles? And that's the vibe that I'm coming to this recording with today. Recently, somebody whose opinion I care about deeply suggested to me that my persona on outward visibility to you pretties is fake, and that who I really am as a person is not what I portray outside in the public. They suggested that if I'm going to tell it, I tell it all. And that was very difficult for me to hear from this particular person, because I care so deeply about their opinion of me, and because I have been on a growth journey and a discovery journey now for a few years that has been solely tied in to my business growth. It's been solely tied into me establishing what I actually want for my life and how I'm going to build that life and how I'm going to make that life great for me and my family and my friends and, my company and the people who are around me. And for you, you're an extension of that. And I think the hard thing for me is that I had a conversation with some people last year where I really lovingly and really carefully, I felt, in my view, of course that's only my perception, but I had a conversation that was difficult where I suggested that somebody was perhaps not being completely genuine with the way that they were portraying themselves outwardly in their marketing and how they were treating people behind the scenes in terms of members of team and things. And that was never intended to hurt that person's feelings. If anything, it was intended to be the hard conversation that I felt was required to be able to support them in shedding some things that I felt needed to be shedded so that they could do better. Not just for their people, but actually do better in their business in terms of being able to make more money and do what they truly desire to do. The idea that the person and the persona that I've built and that I show you isn't who I really am came from outside of myself. And the opportunity that I have in that moment is to accept somebody else's opinion of me and their perception from their standpoint, or not to accept it. And because of the importance of this person in my life and how important this person has been in my life, I chose to evaluate that statement and I took it in. I took it all the way into my heart and soul, and I let it marinate and I let it hurt me and I felt the pain of it, and I was really brutally honest with myself, and I was really brutally honest with the parts of that statement that were in fact true, that are in fact true. Because the person that you see of course, is not the whole woman. You don't see me on an evening exhausted, rushing my children up to bed. You don't see me in the morning quickly washing my kitchen sides, trying to get 6 billion things done whilst we run out of the house. You don't see me stress when traffic is going to make us late for school. You don't see me worrying about the times when we have been really, really in a place of just wanting to support our people further, but not having the capacity to do so for whatever reason, needing to hire quicker and not being able to train quick enough, or a number of different reasons. Sometimes cash flow reasons, sometimes bills come in and they catch you off left field. And all of this is just sides of the business that I obviously will share with you, sides of my life that I will share with you. But I decide to what capacity I share them. Even now, this is me stripped back to an alarming degree. I already know that there will be people who in the industry will listen to this podcast, who will reach out to me to make sure that I'm okay, that I'm not having a meltdown right now. And I don't think I'm having a meltdown. I really think I'm having a breakthrough. I have a story where, again, somebody who I care about, somebody who is incredibly important, who I love dearly, made a statement to me about who I am as a person. This was years ago, and it was a very, very flippant statement. It was casual, it was nothing to worry about, but they made a statement about who I am as a person, just a quick statement. And in that moment, I immediately rejected what they'd said to me because I felt like I knew myself better. And that might be a significant moment in my life, maybe one of the most significant moments in my life in terms of identity, because I grew up masking my ADHD to such a degree that I could have considered myself practically a chameleon by the time I met my 20s. Now I'm unmasking. Now I am learning who I really am. Now I am facing all of my flaws and all of the areas of me as a person that fall short of who I want to be, face to face. And I spend a lot of time tripling down on and exercising my strengths, because that's proven to support you. Positive psychology has proven that it supports you in being able to change your life for the better, to be able to experience more joy, to be able to bring in more strengths where you may not feel you have strengths. The idea is not to try and go and fix every single part of your being. It's about being aware of the things that you're really good at and allowing those things to grow so that they can support other areas of your life that perhaps you haven't previously had the tools to support. After a deep evaluation, and I'm still not fully through it, after a deep evaluation, I have the choice now to reject somebody else's perception of me, which is so hard because of how much this person means to me, how much I love them. Or I have to accept that person's perception of me and choose to adopt that. I could sit here and I could say, yeah, I'm multifaceted. Sometimes I am the worst. Which, from other people's perspective, sometimes I am the worst. Or I could take this and I could use it as an opportunity to sense check and emotionally check how I feel about who I am, and look at the bricks of self-esteem that are within that statement in terms of my identity. Because I'm certainly not the woman that I was 5 years ago. I'm certainly not the woman I was 10 years ago. I know I have improved in areas that are important to me. And I'm not just talking about the business here. The business is a byproduct of the self-development and improvement, and the byproduct of the self-development and improvement of my amazing team, because they don't just come in here and learn the ropes and get on with it. They come in here, they learn the ropes, and then they are growing and they are evolving and they are tripling down on their strengths too. I need to recognize the areas that I could do better. And I need to make decisions over how I'm going to do better, and how I'm going to do better without then being a need for anyone to see the result of that work. I don't know what it feels like in this moment of my existence to have unwavering self-esteem. I have previously felt really super confident, and the areas of my life that are shifting like an earthquake right now are forcing me to rely on areas of my life that are very, very new and yet very, very stable, and to evaluate areas of my life that are what you would consider to be foundational that maybe aren't as stable, which has affected my feeling of self-esteem and who I am as a person. The gentle practice of meeting oneself is not something that I think we can overlook. As thought leaders, as business owners, as women, as friends, as wives, as partners, as mothers, as functioning people in society, the importance of knowing yourself and being steely strong and unshakable in that confidence is priceless. That's like a personal identity Pandora's box. It's the holy grail of being a person. And I wonder how often through my entire life, how often I would have been able to take accountability, to look with genuine curiosity, and also give myself enough self-compassion and love for the things that aren't perfect to be able to fully evaluate this and make changes in a positive way previous in my life. And just that feeling alone feels really good, because in sharing this experience with each other, the good and the bad and the ugly, we are kind of giving each other permission to explore that what lies within ourselves individually as well, I think. So, although I don't have an answer, and I appreciate that there are going to be lots of perspectives and opinions about who I am throughout my entire life, and there will be lots of opinions and perceptions about who you are from outside factors for your life. One of the most important things for us is to be seen and heard and somewhat validated. And I think that starts with seeing and hearing and validating ourselves from a place of untouchable strength. And I'm saying all of this to you, and I hope it will be interesting for you in terms of, giving you something to think about for your own life. But I haven't got the answer. I haven't got the answer. And maybe I'll never have the answer. And maybe you'll never have the answer. And maybe we'll have a beautiful life searching for that answer together as a community. Maybe we will share too much. Maybe we will open up Pandora's box when we shouldn't. Maybe we will explore areas of life in a completely new way. Maybe the version of me that exists in other people's minds, which might as well be a different dimension, is somebody who's fake. Maybe all of this just looks like it's not right, because I don't share all of the bad stuff, and I don't shame myself intentionally with the things that I got wrong. And I talk about the pain of moving through difficult times, but I don't give the details of those difficult times. I think I'm doing that for a few reasons. Some of them is to protect the sacredness of the situation. Some of them is to make sure that anything that ever needs to be openly discussed that might affect my family or my children or my friends would be done in the right way and not just out there for everybody. But also feel like I share the things that are going to be relevant and helpful. Ding ding. For you guys, and for me, and for the growth, and for our wider community, for all pretties. I think it's okay to choose what you share, as long as you're not polishing everything up and making it seem like it's perfect all the time, which is toxic positivity, of course. But as long as you're not doing that, I think it's cool, man, that you have the autonomy to decide how much of yourself you share. And although this particular episode has been prompted by a particular situation in my personal life that has made me feel like I want to really open up, still was my choice to share it. Still was my choice to share it in this way. Still was my choice to do it in this arena, and it was my choice to share it with you today. So I hope it gives you food for thought. I hope for you, if nothing else, I have lots of hopes for all of you, but if nothing else, I hope for you that you know yourself so deeply and so truly that whoever it is you want to be, whoever that woman is or man is who you are becoming, that you know you can be that person, and that you already embody all of the things that are required for you to bridge whatever gap you currently have between your absolutely forgivable, flawed human existence self right now and the version of yourself that you believe is better, that you're working towards. I think it's important that we know ourselves and that we give ourselves a break. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to lovingly take the gift within the statement and use it in my favour to do better and be better, not for anybody else but for me. And I hope you do the same for you too. Until next time, pretty.
If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.